Most productivity systems and even habits fail because they're designed for this perfect, ideal day where you are on top of your game and everything is going right. And let's be honest, that doesn't happen very often. We fall into this trap because we tend to plan and design our habits, our systems, our routines when we're highly motivated, we're really excited. For example, you come across a TikTok of becoming that girl and the becoming that girl morning routine and glow up routine and evening routine. And you get really excited. You're like, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do all these new things, and you lay everything out in this perfect plan. But then it's the middle of the week and life is lifing, your energy is low, and everything feels like it's falling apart. If your routines only work when you're feeling super motivated and everything is going according to your perfectly color coded calendar, it's not a system, it's a wish list. Today, we're breaking down a system framework that's actually built to survive real life. It has 3 distinct levels: your best day, your regular day, and your bad day. As an example of how this shows up in my life, I created a weekly structure plan where I'm accounting for my 5 to 9s outside of my 9 to 5s, where I'm building my businesses and creating my content. Now, I do have everything laid out from 5 to 9 with time blocks. However, I'm very flexible with this because I know that that is my ideal plan, my perfect day plan, and perfect days don't happen very often. This past week, I was caught in this vicious cycle of working late, staying up late to catch up. Then I would wake up late and I would have less time in the mornings to get things done. And it just became this constant cycle of everything being off track. And if I ditched everything I had to do because it wasn't happening at the specific time or for the specific amount of time that I designated in my plan, I would literally get absolutely nothing done. I was listening to a podcast, and I'm pretty sure it was James Clear, and he said to change the scope, not the schedule. Meaning that if you put 2 hours on your calendar to write and you only had 20 minutes, you would still show up and write for those 20 minutes. But in real life, sometimes your entire schedule can get completely blown up. And that's why I changed the rule for myself to be change the scope, not the commitment. This allows me to change the scope of what I'm doing, whether it's shortening the amount of time and the scheduling if I need to. For example, I have a 2 hour time block on Thursday mornings to film for YouTube. Sometimes life happens, things get in the way, I have appointments or calls or whatever it may be. And instead of just saying, well, I only have 20 minutes, there's no way I can film a YouTube video, I might use that time to instead film some short form content for Instagram or TikTok. And then I move my YouTube video filming to another day, such as Saturday morning. That way, the commitment of filming my YouTube video is still happening, even if I have to adjust it. Essentially, I want to make sure that my commitment never drops to 0. So here's how I scale my systems based on real life. Level 1 is your best day. You wake up on time, you feel rested and energized, your brain is firing on all cylinders, you're feeling creative and motivated and excited, and you just can't wait to jump into whatever it is that you're working on. This is your full throttle routine. You're doing your long morning routine. You have your 2 hour focus session. You're going to the gym and doing your hour-long full body workout. But remember, this is the ideal scenario where your energy is high, you're feeling your best, and your schedule is aligned. There's not going to be a ton of days like this, so don't expect to try to force it to happen every single day. For me, this looks like waking up at 5 a.m., doing my slow morning routine where I have my coffee, I do my reading, my gratitude journaling, I go on a walk, and then I come back and I have a 2 hour focus session where I am completely in a deep flow state, getting work done for my business or for my content. Then I'm getting ready and I start my 9 to 5. But as I mentioned before, I don't have these days all the time. And in fact, there are times like last week where I have 0 of those days. So don't expect yourself to have them all the time or feel bad when you don't have them. Level 2 is your regular day. This is your baseline and the bulk of where you're going to spend a lot of your time and where the bulk of your systems should really lie. This is a day where you have a normal amount of energy, you wake up, you feel good, you're not overly motivated or overly energetic, but you're like, I feel good, I feel solid. You get your day started, you have a normal amount of distractions and workload for your day. You don't feel superhuman, but you also don't feel exhausted. Your system design for these days is going to be your non-negotiable baseline that keeps your momentum going without completely draining you. This could be a 30 to 45 minute focused work block, maybe a 20 to 30 minute workout at home, and then a streamlined morning routine or evening routine. The goal with this system is basically consistency, making sure that you're showing up, doing what you need to do and taking care of yourself the best way that you can. This is a level that builds long-term progress. What this looks like for me is my non-negotiable morning routine is doing my daily reading and my gratitude journaling. So regardless of how much time I have, I know that it's only going to take me between like 5 to 10 minutes tops to do my reading and write down my couple of gratitudes for that day. So that is my non-negotiable, even if I can't do my extended reading of my book or Substack or anything like that. I'm doing my daily devotional and my gratitude journal. And of course, doing that with my coffee. And then I'm doing at least a 30-minute focus session on my business or my content. I might need to shift it in my schedule, and that's totally okay, but I'm still getting that 30 minutes done, whether it happens in the morning, over my lunch break, or after I clock out of my work for the day. Because I want to make sure that I'm still doing something to move myself forward with my goals. When it comes to my workouts, my non-negotiable is walking every day, which is really easy when you have a dog. He loves to be outside, so I do multiple walks a day with him. And then some type of extra movement. So whether I'm going for a run or I'm doing a lift or I'm just stretching a little bit, even just 10, 15 minutes, I know that I can get that into my day regardless of how crazy it is. So I might need to scale it back a little bit, and that's totally fine. But about 15 minutes or so of a workout is definitely going to be a non-negotiable for me. And then level 3 is your bad day. Now, I've definitely had many of these throughout my lifetime, and this is basically the days where you wake up and you just feel completely exhausted. You feel drained and you feel like you didn't sleep at all, or maybe you didn't even sleep at all. You have a crazy work schedule, you have to work late, maybe there's a crazy situation at work and it's like an emergency fire, all hands on deck type of thing, or your kids are sick, or any number of life circumstances that can be thrown at you at any moment, and it all just feels too much, too overwhelming, and just chaotic. The system design for these days is the absolute bare minimum. This is your floor. This means that regardless of what's going on, you can get these done. I like to think of these as like little micro habits, and at the core of it, I really focus on what is going to, number one, keep me feeling the best that I can, and number two, move me forward a little bit. This can look like, for example, if you can't do a workout and you're exhausted and maybe you're sore, you do 1 to 2 minutes of stretching. Or you can do workout snacks throughout the day, doing a couple of squats here, a couple push-ups there. For my morning routine, I mentioned before, my bare minimum is doing my gratitude journal. So at least 3 things that I'm writing down, even if I do nothing else. That is so important to me and has completely changed my life. So that's something that I'm not willing to give up. Even if I don't have my gratitude journal with me, or I don't feel like getting out of bed to even write it in there, I will put it in my phone, or I say it out loud, or I write it down somewhere else. But I always do that, no matter how terrible, crazy, chaotic my day or I feel. With business, maybe I'm not able to film or do anything like that, but I can at least maybe jot down a couple of ideas that I have. That takes almost no energy at all because they're just popping up into your head. Planning for your worst days is really one of the biggest game changers because it really takes you out of the all or nothing mentality where you start to spiral if you feel like you missed a day. And like I mentioned before, if most people are planning for their best days, and then if that doesn't happen, if something falls apart, if nothing goes, if something is not aligned to what that perfect plan was, then they just skip it altogether. And that's where you get in that vicious cycle of stopping, starting, and you just feel like, why can't I make any progress? You start to feel like a failure, and this really helps to take you out of that because planning for your worst days, it's going to help protect your identity as being the person who shows up and is doing the things aligned to the goals that you have. So I want you to think about what is one of the most important habits or actions for you right now. What is the most important thing for you to accomplish, to get done? And I want you to start to think about how can you structure your worst day, your bad day system and routine and how you show up for that goal. What does it look like for you to make sure that you're doing something on that absolute worst day where your schedule is crazy, nothing is going right, and you don't feel great? And remember, this should be so incredibly small and easy for you that you can do it when you have no time and no energy. That's the whole idea around this whole bad day floor system. A truly resilient system is one that is flexible and bends so that it doesn't break, because we know that life is not going to be perfect and it's not going to go according to your perfectly laid out plans, no matter how badly you want that to happen, because trust me, I want that to happen for me all the time, but it just does not work that way. By giving yourself that permission to flex into level 2 or level 3 when you need to, you're going to build more consistency over time. And more consistency leads to more progress and more results. Your homework for the next few days is to think about what are the systems in your life right now that you feel like are just not working, or what are the habits that you've been trying to implement that are just not sticking. And I want you to go through and design your 3 levels: level 1, best day; level 2, regular day; and level 3, your worst day. And if you need some help or ideas around how to plan those levels, let me know in the comments. I would love to help you out with that. That's all I have for today. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. And if you know someone who would benefit from this video, please share it. I really appreciate that because it helps me to grow the channel. But that's all I have. I will see you next week. Bye.